his show.
Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch.
Programs Nko plenty news and current affairs. Everything is in one.
Primus Radio. Express, exhibit, explore.
A beautiful evening wherever it is you're getting to listen to the sound of my voice. I welcome you to another amazing episode of Argumentum with Damilola Abodunrin. Thank you so much, dear listener, for joining me today on another time for us to disagree to agree on make sense to make sense. At the end of the day, the idea is just to, get to that point where we get to make sense of the talking points that I have for you. So today, like always, I have two amazing guests with me in the studio. One is in the studio, one is away. Yeah, and for the one with me in the studio, definitely you've seen her face before, but maybe she was on a different do the last time you saw her, and now she's all Afro. Is it Afro they call this now, or is it punk, or it's just echo? Okay, okay. So and I have Dami with me in the studio. Dami, hey, how you doing?
Hi, good evening, everybody. How
Good
you are
evening.
doing?
Yeah.
And good evening, Dami.
Good evening.
My name's
Dami. Okay. So if you want to join me on Facebook, you could run down to Facebook now and be a part of the show. Facebook page is Primus Media City, Instagram and Twitter as well. You can do well to be a part of the family via any of those media platforms, Primus Media City. But on Facebook, I am live now, and I am also live on YouTube. Yes, just search for Primus Television on YouTube. And once you search for Primus Television on YouTube, yes, you'll see me, and yes, definitely you can be a part of the show once you do that too. That's your own responsibility. Just follow all of the pages, follow up all of the handles, and we'd like you to be a part of the family. If you want to listen via the online platforms, Radio Box, Zeno Radio, or online radio net is another platform that you can use to be a part of the show. Just search for Primus Radio, and yes, that is the link to join us. So today I have Dami and Tayo. Tayo will be joining me over the phone line very soon. I'll call Tayo to be part of the show, but certainly you heard Dami's voice already, and I'd like to tell you a little bit of what we'll be talking about today. But before I tell you that, I want to play this music, and maybe the music will give you a guess to what we should be talking about. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
I said to you that I never wanna love another woman, girl, it was true. So true, I meant to marry you. But when I did, I wouldn't want to take care of you. For you, now you say you wanna leave me, girl. When around you I have built my world. Whatever you heard about me, baby, it's definitely crazy. Please give me one chance to show. Oh, for me, oh, my baby, let me go. Oh, for me, Lord, my baby, my chef, me say that I like. Do not see me, oh, oh, for me, oh, oh, baby, oh, for me, oh, my baby, let me go. Oh, baby, oh, my chef, me say that I like. Do not see me, oh, for me, oh, baby. Girl, I wait for you, and I know I'll never love another woman, no one can do. But you, I pause my heart for you. When you come home, you be the one to make it move. Only you. But before you finally leave me, girl, think about what you do to my world. Whatever you do to hurt me, baby, it's gonna drive me crazy. Please give me one chance to show. My body, please don't make me cry. Oh, baby, my chef, me say that I like. Girl, take me on. Stay good. Oh, baby, my body, let me go. Oh, you cry. My chef, me say that I like. Girl, take me on. Stay with me. You could be the one to make me smile. You could be the only one to make me want to have a child. You could be the one I take on a date down the aisle and be the first and the last girl to become my bride. You could be the one to make a fool of me, or you could be the one to be confusing me, or you could be the girl in the world that I know through the rough times gonna stay true to me. You could be my Juliet. I may not have his looks, but I will still be your Romeo. You could be my princess. I'll be a charming prince at the service of only you. That's why I never want to love another woman. That's why I know I'll never love another woman. That's why I can never love another woman. That's why. That's why when I think about you leaving, I find myself grieving. Though it seems deceiving, I'm still believing. Girl, you stay with me forever, and I'll remain humbly kneeling while your heart is healing. Teardrops revealing the way that I'm feeling, girl. Please stay with me forever. Oh, baby, yeah. Please, baby, watch it, feel me, say that I like me, oh, follow for me. I do run, baby, me. I do run, baby, me, to me. Follow for me, Joe. Baby, me. Watch it, feel me, say that I like. Do not take me, oh, baby, do run, I do run, to me, oh.
Primus Radio. Ojú ọ̀gbagadì láti fẹ́ rẹ̀ hàn.
Okay, my country people, thank you so much for hanging in there. Thank you so much for joining in on the show today. As always, there is no show if you know the for the show. So most times, if I no get Dami, if I no get Tayo for the show, and you wait to listen to me no day, trust me. With time I just complain. So based on one or two, my real VVVIPs, and thank you so much for coming around today. As always, so that particular song, that I was telling them behind the mic that I remember I said we always use that line. run one or two babes.
No, thank God. I think they go lie.
we they use that line, run one or two babes that time.
Which one they use pass?
If love is a crime, Olufumi. Now those lines they use.
And the babe said
rough
sit down,
street.
they listen.
She no get dressed now.
Which
You're gonna use African Queen Jamam.
Which voice?
No, I no get voice, but I be right.
Mass. Now right to the right.
No dollar. When if I run the line for you, damn, why you doing like this? You look so much like an African Queen. How you doing? Oh boy, I tell you, babe, don't run over my heart. Yeah.
But now, Uncle.
I lie. What thing to do? I go to run line for music for you. Okay. Before we get into the major talking point for today, I'd like you to hear the voice of Ty. Ty, how you doing? Hello, Ty. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I said I'm fine.
Oh,
yes,
good. So I was talking about Olufumi shortly. Have you ever used Olufumi to run a babe before? One of those, old school songs to run a babe. Be sincere.
No, I was an African Queen guy.
Oh,
hey. So you guys are plenty.
So it's African Queen for you.
Yeah, I was an African Queen guy. But back then, though, I don't got my boots already.
Oh. So you're telling me that you've not asked a babe out in recent times, or you've not used that line to ask a babe out recently, Tayo?
Both. I've not done both in recent times.
Hey, Tayo.
Good man.
Tayo, are you lying?
Why, yeah.
Tayo, you lying?
Did you just get married?
Tayo.
Did you just get married, Tayo?
You need to trust me now.
Wait, did you just get married, Tayo?
No, not at all. I didn't just get married.
Tayo is on the streets.
Wait. Is he married?
Tayo is not married to his Tayo.
You're not married?
I'm not married.
So why did you hang up your boots?
You know what? I'm just not in the
You're
field
not
right
just
now.
interested in relationship anymore.
Exactly, something like that.
Outbreak. Sorry.
Okay, so guys. This is the first talking point. I decided to start with that Olufumi song because I felt it's something that we all can relate with, and it's a very good way to just start the talking point already. And Dami already even just said something about breakfast, and Tayo already came in from that breakfast angle. But don't worry, we are not serving breakfast. We are coming to tell you about somebody that was served the breakfast very recently. And I tell you, this particular breakfast, I read the story and it hooked my heart. I read the story and it shocked me. So let me just run you through what happened, and I'll just paraphrase it. Then Tayo and Dami would share their opinions about the story. So there's this guy on Twitter. He decided to keep his identity anonymous so that you don't track the lady in the question or track the guy in the question. So his name is AB, and this is his story. So he says, I'm not a good writer, so there will surely be mistakes as you read, and he's not writing this to guilt trip or shade anyone. So we are also not jumping on this particular topic to guilt trip or shade anyone. We're just talking about it so that we all can learn from it. And he says, it's going to be a long one. This is my story, no additives, and this has been in my Google Doc for some time. So the story goes on, and AB says he's a 33-year-old man from a family of 7 parents and 5 siblings, 2 girls and 3 boys, and he is the oldest. He's a very shy person, reserved and antisocial. I don't have friends, not a single one, apart from the few buddies I used to play with in my street. So I can relate with AB. Maybe somebody that stays in the estate, and they really don't give him chance to be able to go out like that. And he says, when I was much younger, that's talking about the friends he had, and we are still talking till now. So he says, when I say antisocial, I'm not talking about being antisocial and even anti-social media. I dedicate so much of my time to work that I can go on for days without remembering to check my social media feeds. And he says, I wasn't from a rich home. We worked a lot before we ate. My parents worked very hard while I was growing up, but be it in the farm or their endeavors, these guys worked extremely hard to make sure they raise us up as comfortable as they can, sending us to the best average schools at all. So I'm just going to paraphrase it. I just took that intro so that you understand the background of who AB is. So let's go to the story. AB's dad married late, and he didn't want AB to also get married pretty late. So he wanted AB to marry early. AB's dad married when he was 49, and AB's mother was 20. So AB graduated at the age of 22 from one of the federal universities in southern western part of Nigeria, and he started working at the age of 23. At 25, AB was reasonably okay. Now remember that AB is the one that wrote this story, and AB doesn't necessarily mean Abraham or doesn't necessarily mean Abiodun, so don't even try to decipher who this person is. Just let's take the story as it is, because AB has decided to hide his identity, so let's stick to it that way. So AB says he's not really a woman's man, and he says, don't get me wrong, I love women. It's not like he's gay. He loves women, but he's always admiring them from afar, but it's always from afar. And he says, I didn't or don't really like the idea of being in a relationship or getting married. But AB obviously wanted to do two things. He didn't want to fall in the same trap as his father, and AB also wanted to start a life of his own. So, over time, he always got into a conversation with his mother, wanting to share the experiences of their father. And, their father was getting pretty old. The father got married at 49. Before, if you had 49 plus 22, or 25, that's around 70s already. So AB's father was old already, and at least AB's father wanted to see his grandchild, at least be able to, the beauty of every grandparent is to see their children, and that was what AB's father wanted. And beautifully, AB got into a relationship. Now, I need to tell you that AB is the oldest. So if AB was 25, you know that AB's younger ones will just be around maybe 21, 22, and that's the story. So AB was not going to force his siblings into a marriage. So AB was supposed to take the first step, and AB did. And AB met L. L is the lady now. She's not Lara. She's not Lola. She's not. She's not. Don't even try to say. Don't try thinking of who L is. So AB met L. She was 21. She was in school then, and L was the most loving, caring, determined, adventurous. Tayo, stop that.
That is not so.
Okay, so AB met L that was all shades of amazing. Trust me, I can picture. I'm trying to imagine if L was Dami. I believe that Dami will not do what
L was
did.
that mean? But wait.
No.
In what aspect?
No,
In what aspect?
I'm saying in terms
the
of
good time.
yes, in terms of being caring, determined,
beautiful.
adventurous.
Of course. Name it. Name it. Which one is what's that one?
All shades of amazing. But when we get to what L did, you will not wish Dami was L.
I'm not L.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you're not L. But I'm
I
saying
possess the good qualities
L as.
Yes.
Yeah. So moving on, L and AB, they got into an awesome life. AB finished from NYSC. L also finished from NYSC. On the night of the NYSC, everything put together, AB proposed to L, and she said yes. Like, you could see the excitement and happiness on L's face, and they stepped on this relationship. 1 year later, they got married, and in 2017, she was pregnant for their first child already. So, and it wasn't really obvious, because as at that time AB was 28 and L was 24. So their parents were happy. The family was very happy, and everyone was doing very well. And they gave birth to a baby boy. AB's father was one of the happiest man on earth, at least to be able to see his grandchild. And in the year 2019, beautifully, AB and L had a second child. And their life was so beautiful. Everything was so perfect. In fact, you could term their family, in AB's words, my family was the best on earth. Every day, I couldn't wait to just go home and meet my world. My family and my 2 boys loves me, and I love them alike. When they say a child, when you give birth to Omo Lanti Meji, everybody in the area will just be hailing you, say, Sean sir, now you be boss. So, and, AB was already getting that high feeling until my brother, my sister. I feel like taking a commercial break here. But don't let me take a commercial break. Let me just fill you in with the gist completely. So, I need to mention that COVID happened. And before COVID, I need to also mention that AB sponsored all of L's education. and was always giving a monthly allowance. So AB never made L suffer anything reasonable, at least reasonable from the story he wrote. So 2020 happened. That's the lockdown year, and things got better. AB was always sitting now at home. They were always together. AB and L were always together. AB would have long trips to different cities. They would lodge and sometimes they would come back. So fast forward to the story that we're talking about. So they traveled this time, and AB and L took a 5-minute walk from the hotel where they lodged, and they wanted to get something. So when they went to get the thing that they got, I've forgotten what they went to get exactly now, but on getting there, after they got that thing, a man, the person that sold that thing, gave AB a note. And in the note, what was in the note was, I wouldn't do this normally, but I must be, because I must be as professional as I can, but please make sure you use a condom. And that was the point where crisis started to come in. So I'll take this again. A, B, and L with the children went on a trip, and the children were in the hotel sleeping. A, B, and L took a walk 5 minutes down the street of where the hotel is. They went to get something, and the man, that's the man that sold something to AB, wrote a note and stuck the note inside AB's pocket. AB got home, opened the note, and what he saw was, I wouldn't do this normally because I must be as professional as I can, but please make sure you use a condom. And he says, thanks for the huge tip. I appreciate it. So it was like, what was this, AB knowing that L has been a very faithful wife and all of that. And that man, that's the person that sold the thing to AB and L, decided to pay AB's good deed by giving him a health tip. And AB was thinking, dude, are you joking? Okay, he just felt, maybe it's just one of those normal things. Maybe he was thinking that L was. My dear, fast forward. L was serving AB breakfast behind. When I say breakfast now, somebody else was chopping L's work.
In the eyes of the carton.
Behind AB. So fast forward, AB confronted L. The issue got out. AB was respectful enough with L. He didn't take the issue too personal. They moved on from it the very first time. And then another one happened. So the second time this happened, they said that I can't remember who advised AB now to go get.
I think the friend.
The friend of AB advised AB to go run a DNA on the children, both children. AB went to run the DNA on both children. Sadly, AB was not the owner of both children. AB's father, obviously very happy that his son has 2 children and he's been able to play with his grandchildren, got affected with this particular story, and the father had stroke. L packed out of the house and told AB she doesn't deserve him, same as the children. So AB eventually became wifeless and childless at the age of 33.
And jobless.
Oh yeah, you had to put that part. AB also lost his job due to the struggle, the hustle and bustle that happened. And this emotional thingy, when he gets you, he hook you, and you can just lose everything. You can lose focus, and AB lost focus and they lost his job and everything. And AB said at the last paragraph that he's moving on. AB said, I'm back home running the business my pops was running for me back home. God bless you all. Thank you, my friends, for reading, and have a good night. Well, but I must mention that AB's dad has a stroke as a result of that particular situation. Everyone was devastated. The flawless wife became flawful. Tayo, let me start from you. You read this story.
You know what?
Okay.
Let me say, I'll be. I'm actually intrigued as to what she has to say. What's her name? For me, right?
Okay. Dabby.
Wait. Tayo, what's your mission? Wait. You be sounding like they've given you series of heartbreak. Wait, calm down. Let's know what we are doing.
No. I assure you, that's not the case.
So wait. Why are you targeting me? Because it is my gender, Abi.
No, to be honest, I've not been heartbroken. I really just know what you want to say about it.
Hey, Chineke Mo.
Okay, so let me start from you, Dami.
All right. The emotional aspect of me will want to judge the woman for being unfair, very unfair, and her action is really questionable. What exactly does she want? Is she really lacking anything in the house? Even if there is problem, even if she's not totally satisfied by the husband, because he didn't mention some of the bad things he must have too. No, there is nobody that doesn't have any flaw. So he didn't mention the sad side. He has only narrated his own story, and I everybody, when you want to narrate a story, you narrate it in such a way that suits you. You understand? So without downplaying all of the things that he has said, I totally resonate with his pains, and I feel the lady did wrong. For such a person, she can actually kill. In fact, she left the guy completely damaged. She broke the guy's heart, and I can bet you that guy can never remain the same. All of those things he's saying. So I just want to read this, making it so light. Even when he was narrating the story, he was still saying baby, this and that. So it looks like sometimes, at some point, I was like, is this one novel? Is this one fiction? Because. But we can't totally say it's a fiction, because many things happen under the sun. You never can tell. It could be true. So at some point, I was feeling like this person making it look like he's gotten over it. I don't want to agree with that. I think he's really traumatized, and anybody, I don't think he will want to go into any relationship at the moment. And even if he tries to go into any relationship at the moment, the person will probably bear the brunt of the ex. So you understand? It will be a big trouble. You understand? And trusting people, because she left him completely damaged. And then the father who trusts the lady so well, not just the guy, the family as a whole. The lady really, I don't know, maybe she's just some Delilah that was sent to the family to do some things. Yes. Wait now, why are you laughing? Maybe in life they used to say there's one there's one ancestral power or curse or something that people usually say go through. And so I just want to assume that probably the family I don't know what they have done in their lifetime.
Yeah,
that must have warranted that, you understand, the village people came for them through Lady L, and then she rendered the whole family useless. The father having a stroke, even the mother, all of them, they're all devastated. So I really do not support that lady. That's the emotional aspect of me. And now looking at it logically now, they've been together. Okay, this girl. I want to accept also that it wasn't because the father pressured him to marry early.
Yeah, that's why
that wasn't the case. Move. I don't want to think that's the case. From the story, it didn't in any way mention it that he needed to marry early.
It was not pressured. In fact, he said that his mother wasn't even pressuring him, but she just had that chat with him. It was a friendly chat.
So it was more like you got talking to somebody and you fell in love with the person, and for somebody who has not been in a relationship before, so you just
especially knowing that it was not too good with
ladies and all that. So I feel it wasn't pressured. So it wasn't because he was pressured and didn't carry out his due diligence. So that wasn't the case. Now, logically, I'm trying to say, you didn't narrate the sad story, because I like to check critically what happened in the long run. There's some loopholes there. When you were with the lady, you guys had sex. Is it that you're not potent enough to make her pregnant, or is it that at some point the lady was just taking out the pregnancy? Because you cohabited for a while, like you guys are cohabitants, and what happened? How didn't you see the lines? Didn't you see the flags? Like, how can a lady leave your house, go through all of that, have the first, the second? I understand that we can, when we cheat in a very...
Please take a line again. I'm very interested in the line.
When ladies cheat, they cheat in a very, very, in fact,
You can be
in
doing
a delicate.
You can be doing three lady, three guys
No,
at the same time.
in a very ideological way, like a way that might not seem open to you in many years.
Especially when you trust the person so much.
Many years, you don't have to trust the lady so well, oh. Even if you don't trust the lady and she wants you to feel like trust me, she will make you trust and she will still be running things.
I've been served breakfast.
So you sure you understand? Which one is breakfast? It's the truth. It's the truth. So the guy, is it that he was, and he said he's been around, spending
especially
many
during
hours,
the COVID.
spending many hours with them in their house. So how come he didn't see the lines? I don't want someone to just come and giving us one Twitter story and in the end do not say it's all fiction. I don't want to, because now he's playing with my emotions. Now he's playing with my head. Okay. How can you be at home a long period with your family and you can't see the gaps, like when she wants to go out to do some things? Hello, are you talking, Tayo?
Yes, please. That's the idea of the show.
Okay.
I have a theory for why he was oblivious to the fact that this must have been happening.
Okay.
If you read the story very well, he said it was a get inside boy, like
right from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So he had no OT, and also he said he only admired women from afar.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to say he had no experience with women.
Regardless, it's human. He works with human. He works with people.
Oh yeah, but like having a romantic and like a sexual relationship with women is different.
So is this you trying to tackle Dami from the angle of maybe the other room angle, him not being able to
No. I'm just saying it is possible for him not to see the signs because he has no experience with women. So it was easy for him to miss all these things someone like me or Dami, would see. Because
that might not say that.
Because you're more outside, you're more get outside, you don't more get inside.
No, that's not the point. I just mean someone that has more experience with women, so that knows how women.
Womanology.
I don't know what Tayo is talking about. My hands are clean, but continue.
So,
I can hear
and
you.
also, you said about the pressure, like you would like to believe that
it wasn't
they didn't
pressured
pressure
by
him.
the father.
Even though he said the mom didn't pressure him, you can't really rule out the fact that him knowing the father wanted the child before passing away would have pressured him in a way. You know how women are.
Yeah.
We like to satisfy people, right? Our parents particularly. So the fact that he knew that must have led him to make a more hasty decision. Couple that with the fact that this guy has no idea what women are like, So it was just like
I beg to disagree. I beg to disagree.
Okay.
You making excuse for him it's not a perfect alibi, because this particular guy, he works with people. I don't want to believe ignorance is an excuse to an extent.
Okay.
He works with people. So when somebody is treating you unfair, you don't know. Is that what you're saying?
But you also have to add in the fact that I was in love. You know what love does.
Regardless, we understand. See, love is blind. Whole story, niye.
Okay, that's another punchline. Love is blind. Whole story, okay.
Hey, God.
Okay, I'm happy.
Take your time. See, the thing is, when people are not treating you right, the signs are always there. We can always see the red flags. We just choose to ignore. If I can question that guy, I will bring out a lot of facts that will have to make me shift the blame on him for tolerating all of that excesses. If I have the opportunity to interrogate him now.
Okay. Tayo, you wanted to say something?
I don't think he really gets me. I'm not making excuses. I'm giving you my theory as to why this guy didn't see these things. I mean, you are saying it because, you have read his story. He didn't see nothing. He's probably still in love. You see the way he wrote his story.
Of course,
the guy had no spite in him. Do you understand? So this guy is someone that had no experience with women, like I said, on a marriage scale, on a relationship scale, like he said in the story. I'm gleaning everything from the story. I'm not going by what I'm just saying from the story. He had no experience with women. He had no experience on the streets. It was a get inside. And also, that was probably the first person he fell in love with. If you couple these three things together, it's just a recipe for disaster. If you fall into the wrong hands, which is it.
Okay, so 3 things that you must never do as a guy wanting to fall in love. Don't be a get inside.
No.
What are you saying?
For
No,
a
I'm
guy
trying to
like that. For for his circumstance, for a guy like that,
Okay.
falling into the wrong hands is like the worst for people like that.
Mm.
You know, and it did, unfortunately for him. So that's why this happened.
Okay. So let's, Dami, do you want to say one more thing?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I still, because see, it's just like when okay, I'm getting inside now. Mokonya not touch me. Okay, I have neighbors. I go out. I listen to people. Okay, fine. He said he's not a social media person. He's antisocial. He don't go. Okay, he doesn't go out, but he knows that he can travel out to hotels, lodge his family, lodge his kids. Doesn't see. How did he have that idea that you can go to hotels and have fun with your family? So when the waiter gave him the paper, the notes, so how come he now suddenly realized that he needs to ask his friend that, okay, well, let me see, you have neighbors around you, you have friends now that you talk once in a while.
Okay, so
it's not like he's a layman now. You are not. He's not on an island.
So are you? So with what you're saying now, you're saying maybe the guy was too naive. Is that?
Yeah, he's naive. I think that's the word. He's
Okay.
naive. He's too
Okay.
pliant.
We agree on that fact that it was very naive. We
He's too
agree. I'm
pliant
just-
and probably
Of
trying
course.
to ignore some of those excesses that he actually saw.
Okay. So
Yeah, and you see this in a lot. You see this in a lot of men who are in love. They tend to take a lot of excesses. They fail to put their leg
The same
down,
thing
you
with
know,
the
put
female.
yeah, but I'm kind of here to speak for men. So
See, this is not gender based discussion. It's not gender based
Yeah,
discussion. Let's know what we are talking about.
I know, but I'm here to speak for men, so I can only talk about men.
You can only talk
I have a
about
man-
men. Okay, should we start making it look
Yeah,
like
I have
that? Should we make it
Yeah, I have
centric,
a man-
gender centric now?
No. I have a man's perspective. That's my point.
I also have a
man's
woman perspective.
That's the point. So I'm trying to hear your perspective, so I can give you a man's perspective.
Okay, so the man's perspective is that the best you can do?
This is not about the best I can do. It's about me interpreting the story to the best of my ability. And
Okay.
this guy just fell into the wrong hands, and he wasn't the type of man to kind of get up from under something like this.
Okay.
That's why personal
Okay.
fraud was committed against him.
Part-
And
did
also, you
did say
intimated
okay,
that-
partner fraud. Okay, DNA. Okay,
You
yeah.
intimated that it was a one-sided story, which is true. Which is why, if you listen to me very well, I've not taken any side in this story. But I don't think, even if he was cheating, right, the guy, I don't think partner fraud kind of goes with what he did, whatever he did.
He
'Cause
doesn't even
now-
deserve it. He doesn't deserve it, regardless of
Exactly.
his
He has been taking care
wrongs.
of 2 kids that were not his. So he could have killed himself or something. That's crazy. Like, I don't think there's anything worse that can be done to a man than
Than
partner
that.
fraud.
Yes.
Okay,
So, yeah.
are there possibilities that this guy was even seeing another babe and it was low-key also hiding his own
I don't
part?
think so. From the story, it doesn't sound that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I
It
don't,
doesn't
I
Because
sound
don't
that
sometimes
way.
they say you earn what you.
He said when you were narrating the story, remember he said he's antisocial, but it's not like
Yeah.
he doesn't knock other girls. So
Mm.
you said it there. I read it in the
Okay.
story. Didn't you read it, Tayo?
And also, you skipped over something in the story.
Okay.
This guy took over from the wife's parents and football abuse.
Yes.
So like this guy kind of invested a lot in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He invested a lot in that relationship, not just emotionally. Like he invested a lot in the relationship,
Financially too,
and
yeah.
so it's just a good premise for him basically going forward. He shouldn't do that anymore.
Okay, so you would also say that for a man, you should never make that mistake of committing yourself into a lady's responsibilities from start to finish. Is that what you're saying?
In this present world, I would say that you shouldn't do that. It's just too big of a
Really?
risk for you.
Are you
Yeah, really.
serious?
Yeah, it's too big of a risk for you to do.
For you to what? Take responsibility of
It's
a
a-
woman you're in love with.
Now take he said he took responsibility for my parents, so like he paid everything. That's what he intimated. I've read the story a few times, so I can really understand.
Yeah.
This guy took complete responsibility for this woman who you are basically entrusting yourself to. I mean, you are basically hoping she does nothing wrong for doing this.
I think
And
he was rather
there-
unfortunate, and it's not an avenue for us to now encourage others not to do it, because there are actually good women who deserve all of this. Some of us have paid our dues. We've paid our
That's
time.
true. Can
Yes.
Advocate number one.
Can I get
Yes,
to the end of my
I'm
point?
with you. Yes, I'm with you. Jai, I'm with
Okay,
you.
so like the risk to reward ratio is just not worth it though for a man. in this present world.
The risk to reward, because
risk
we
to
have
reward
more
ratio.
we have more Omowobe outside than
Precisely.
the
So,
children that have paid their dues.
If you're
like
saying
you
this,
shouldn't-
you're apparently saying that even the ladies who foot bills for men should also stop because they're also not getting
yes,
the
that's what I'm
reward.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
So where is
That's
the
what-
love? Now let me ask you, where is the love?
Okay, this is another angle. Okay,
You know what?
That is
I'm
Tola
not
is not
really-
Tayo is not a preacher of love, by the way. But
Hey, in the Boski.
No, I'm not. The truth is that I'm not saying don't commit to people. I'm just saying the guy over committed himself. He overextended himself. Like all she brought. She said she was sweet. She was this. She was that. But it was there taking too much responsibility, and it beat him.
What do you mean too much? You only think it is too much because it is from your own angle of view.
Being
Wait,
masculine now in this
when
story,
when the guy might not see it as being too much. For me, what if
Yes, because
what if
he's
my
in love.
own
I'm in
normal
love
my
with
whole
wife, so
normal
I can-
way of gifting a guy is for me to get him limousine, and then another person sees it as big deal, and I'm seeing it as I wish I have more so that I can just package
Spoil this guy.
a very nice mansion with that limousine. I are seeing it as a big deal, like it is too much. Can you
Okay,
measure the gifts you can give to a lady you're in love with?
But this wasn't gift.
No, I don't mean
actually-
gifts in that context. I'm only trying to say how much you can gift or invest on the person you love. So is there measurement to how much you can spend, how much you can invest, or is there a line, a boundary to know when to lay back and you're doing too much, step back?
That's very political question. Yeah, but I have an answer for you.
I decided to leave you people because this is the beautiful
Okay,
part of
oh.
the show where you get to face yourself heads on. So
Let him answer. Don't let him forget the question.
Okay, I withdraw.
I have an answer for you. Once you see that you are doing more than you are receiving, and not just negligibly. I'm not talking about 51-49 or
Okay.
55-45 or 60-40. I'm talking about 80-20 or 70-30. Then that's a sign to stop. And I'm not saying that is the case in this story because, like I said, I don't have all the context. I don't have all the data. But whenever you see that you are doing too much, and but it's just that love. You see that love, it just makes you.
And that's why you're
Only
not a
love
preacher
go
of
humble
love.
you. Love go humble you.
And that's why you're not a preacher
Yeah,
of
it
love.
just makes you not be smart, and that's why I strongly advise against it. By the way, so
Strongly
You advise what? Against what?
against
Against
falling
what?
in love.
Against falling in
Against
love or
falling
against
in
love?
Against falling in love.
It is the same thing, love and falling in love.
No, you can love someone and not be in love with them.
Hey, if you are saying if you're pushing against love, you're pushing against God. Do you know God is love?
This one went
No,
to the
let's
church.
not do that. Let's just talk about.
Hey, okay.
Let's just talk about relationships right now. God told us to love one another.
I know
It's
that.
As Christ loves
different
the
from
church.
falling in love with somebody. You
Why
understand?
don't you just keep doing your own and God will reward you?
Hey,
Okay,
you
so
keep
is that
doing
we are
what?
telling this man?
You keep doing
Is that
what?
we are
No,
telling
he has
this-
done his
is that we are
best,
telling
and
this-
if God sees everything, heaven sees everything. God is going to reward him with somebody who he doesn't even have to invest much in before he gets all of the love that he deserves.
Preacher.
You know what?
That's the truth.
You know what? I like this person so much. It's very political. This kind of things we people say, it sounds good on paper. Just do your best. You know what? You just do it. God will reward you. I'm sure that guy is not over there in his house thinking that right now. So you know what? Let him be smarter next time.
Yeah, of course he'll be smarter. We learn from our lessons. We learn from all of the lessons.
Exactly,
you know.
exactly.
Yeah,
Okay, so I've really enjoyed this conversation thus far, and I really would love to drag it a little more, but we have to move into the second talking point. And quickly, let me run through a few comments. I can see you, Erika. Thank you so much for coming around. And Palu is saying, Abodunrin is saying, Delilah, he's saying it don't happen. Face off, and when you were talking about that, investing in love, said hallelujah. Okay, so if you are in that guy's shoes, Tayo, as a man, what will you recommend? Or I pray you'd never get into such shoes, by the way.
Oh no, it can't happen. Don't worry. But,
Calm down now. Calm down. It wouldn't go.
Okay.
You're doing strong man. Hey.
Okay, so what would be your take?
but not just like for me personally, but I'm speaking to men right now, right?
Okay.
So I feel like the rules,
The rules.
on marriage and marriageability and things like that have changed. I mean, in the olden days, the man was supposed to go out, slay the beast, bring home the meat for the woman, to nurture the kids, build the home.
Mm-hmm.
Those rules have been torn up and burnt. Why? Is because women make just as much as men now, and so they have more freedom to do whatever they like. And as a result of this, you can't expect them to just go by the old ways and be traditional. Basically, that's the word.
Okay.
Traditional.
Okay.
So I think this guy was very naive based on his story, because he expected that, he was taking care of this woman, he was providing for her, he showed her all the love in the world, and then he's supposed to get back. He's entitled to, which he is, to be honest. He's entitled to getting some adulation, some loyalty, and definitely not raising someone else's children. He expected that much.
Okay.
But that's not what happened.
Okay.
And so I need more men to realize that women are not as traditional as they used to be anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They are not as traditional as they used to be. Third wave feminism came with sexual liberation and all those things.
Okay.
And that has gotten into the head of women.
Okay.
So they feel like they can what's the word I'm looking for? They can take more liberties. All I'm saying is, I'm rambling. All I'm saying is, put yourself first as a man. You need to put yourself first, because it will save you from a lot more often than not if you put yourself first. You just need to put yourself first, even if you're in love.
Okay.
And no, people will say, "Oh, so does that mean don't go above and beyond for your wife, even if you're in love and stuff?" No, I'm not saying that, but she isn't your wife. I'm talking about when you are picking the wife.
Okay.
I'm talking about the process of courting the woman.
Okay.
You need to open your eyes
Thank
and
you.
put yourself first. That's it.
Thank you very much. Dami, you're a lady, and you said you've seen it from the emotional angle, then you also looked at it from the logical angle. So your take on the story, and what would be your advice to that man, if you are the man's friend?
Well, I'll make my comments very generic, so that every other person, anybody could be going through that now. We never can tell. So I just think, just like Tayo said, before you go into a relationship, you need to let all your cards, put it on the table. And one of my boss used to say something that when it warrants that you need to take off the things that you don't naturally accept. When a relationship requires that you have to let go of your own principle, you need to check it. You need to watch it.
Let me just take that again. When a relationship requires that you have to bend your working principles for that person,
yes, you need to check that relationship again.
I agree. I agree with
okay, Tayo, Dami, how about you making sacrifices for the person?
Of course, but in part of that, your principle, there is this humanitarian aspect of it that says that you need to compromise for your love. But your love shouldn't totally eradicate all of your principles.
Okay.
There is no way you will love somebody and it will bend, or you have to bend all of your principle for the person. No, because once it's, let's say out of 100, you just warrant you to take maybe 30, you have 70 left. That's still fair.
Okay.
But like taking like 75 and you have 30, there's problem.
Okay.
There's problem.
So, but from Tayo, put yourself first. From Dami too, it's almost like put yourself first, but in a angle of your principles, your working principles, when you have to bend so much. But for this guy, I really didn't think it was something that really messed up with his principles. You agree with me? It was not about his principles.
It wasn't. No. I think he's somebody who, if you check it very well, he's very ambitious. He likes his work and every other thing. He's so focused. If he had channeled that same energy that he channeled towards his job to his own relationship, he would have seen some of these things.
Would have seen in between the lines.
So it was more like his relationship at work are mutually exclusive, which is understandable. But all of that principles he used to be successful as a business person should have been applied to his relationship too.
Thank you so much.
I agree with that as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move into the second talking point. We'll do this for about 5 minutes because I still want to go on a short music break. Probably that music would just be what we used to send out. And Balumi is still saying Tayo na Togo, and he says, I think he slipped up though. That's talking about the guy. That's the guy in the relationship. So moving on and taking the second story. This is about a little bit about politics, and it's not really we're not going to be really looking at it from that politics angle. We'll just try to bring it into our own youthful lifestyle. So today, beautifully APC at their their primaries, and Sheikh Sheikh Baba was the presidential
emerged the
candidate.
winner.
Yeah, he
Wow.
emerged the winner. That's Bola Ahmed Tinubu
But-
became the winner, and I just had to look at this particular talking point because I noticed that people like you and I are probably the ones that get to bear the brunt for whatever it is these people do. People like yourself, myself, Tayo, and so many other people that are just ambitious young people, but probably we were never born into a family with a golden spoon. And even if we were born to a family with a golden spoon, our golden spoon didn't go political. So to an extent, we really might not be able to access power. And without power, you really can't influence your society, talking about what happens. Right now, even if you are born with a golden spoon, the best that you can do is if a dollar becomes 1,000 naira, you can still afford it. But the people that tells us, that rolls out policies that makes that 1,000 naira become $1 become 1,000 naira, you might never be able to assess that position. And when the children of the nobody, when the children of somebody are the only people getting there, I think they don't think about the children of the nobody. Now, there are a few exceptions. The Awolowos are exceptions. And, I really have to bring Tayo on this one because I know Tayo is a big advocate for Africanism, Nigerianism. He has a way of putting his black idea, and he feels like maybe the whites colonizing us has really been one of the biggest mistakes Nigeria has ever made. That's Tayo's ideology and so many others. So I'll bring Tayo first on this. Tayo, Abacha's son won Kano PDP Guba primaries. Lamido's son won Jigawa PDP Guba primaries. El Rufai's son won APC Kaduna North Federal Constituency. Ajimobi's son won APC ticket to contest Oyo State Assembly. Ibori's daughter won PDP. Ganjuge's son also is there. Okowa's daughter too is there. Akala's son is there. Fayoshe's son is there. Ogunleye's son is there. Yarima's son is there. And so many others. In fact, there's this article on the Punch newspaper that has it this way, that political dynasties being planted again. So all of the politicians are looking for how they get to bring their children into the circle. Now, I, for a person, have been affected largely with the Epileptic Academic Staff Union of University strike. And even though because I'm maybe just a dogged fighter, I probably would have lost interest in education. And once you refuse to educate a child, it's like you're opening up that child to gross mediocrity, so you can rule them over and over again. Tayo, what's your take on this? Do you think it's a very good move, or do you just think it's about the politicians wanting to right the wrongs that they did through their children?
Oh no, it has nothing to do with right and wrong.
Okay.
It's just passage of power to the next generation.
Okay. And what's your take on this?
Can I go on?
Yes, please. Yes, please go on.
Okay, so even Tinubu's father was a powerful politician in Lagos, before even Tinubu came. So power was passed on to him. And former Nigerian President Yar'Adua's father was actually a very powerful northern politician too. So if you would actually peel back the history books and go back in time, you will see that this is not a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
So the system works for the elite. They keep getting rich, and then the rest of us keep feeding off crumbs. And that is why they intend to continue that perennial state by passing over the power to their children and handing over the reins to them and saying, you know what, now is your turn to do the same and pass it over to your children too. That's basically what's going on. And it's not just education, like you mentioned, healthcare, the economy, nothing works in this country, but it benefits them. They will keep getting richer. And so it really has nothing to do with us. They don't really care about us. It's just them. They're not trying to right any wrong. So I can assure you that.
Okay. So what's your take on this? Do you feel it's a good move, or it's just them wanting to cement their legacies? Before I take it to that way.
They don't really care about their legacies. They're basically just cementing their family's name, basically, because you need children to extend your line, basically. And so this has nothing to do with good or nothing. I mean, if I were a politician as well and I have kids that have come of age, I want to pass power to them too. So it is really not just about us, or if they're trying to cement their legacies. What is their legacy? What's the Nigerian politician's legacy anyway? They have no legacies.
Okay, so you would have done the same too.
If I was a politician, I would have done the same for sure.
Okay, so if you have access to power today, you do the same.
Oh no, I'm not saying.
Hey.
So, okay, you see, people don't really listen to what you say. They just infer things and go with it.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'll be corrupt and then pass power to my child and make him also terrorize people. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying if I were a rich man and a powerful man, I will pass the power to my child. That's my point.
Okay.
But these people are not doing these things for us. They're
Okay.
doing it for themselves and for their line.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Dami.
I think all of our politicians are just their power-drunken nature is really baffling. You know, they are really doing no good to us. The poor man keeps getting poorer, not because they are not making moves, not because they are not struggling. You know, they just want to retain that power to be relevant in the society. They are doing it for relevance, nothing else. So you just keep passing it from generation to generation. That's what they are doing. So it's not like I don't really see them having our interest at heart. They don't have our interest at heart. They just want to keep the name, and they want to. It's just greediness. That's the word for it. In encapsulation, it's greediness. It's selfishness. That's just it.
I think.
I'm listening. To
I think it's worse than greed.
Okay.
Because if it's greed, these guys are rich beyond their wildest dreams.
Yes.
So
Imagine
there's only so much greed. I can't give you credit for being just greedy, you know, at a certain point, because it can't be greed. It's evil. It's more than just being greedy.
Yes.
It's just being evil. Basically.
Of course, evil breeds greediness. Greediness breeds you being evil. You know, when you have this money, 5 million naira, you see, there's something. I understand what it feels like. Me, I'm a critical thinker. When you have money, 10 million naira, and then once you start planning some things, you realize that the money is not enough. And then you'll be thinking, Olowo ni now.
So you keep.
They understand.
Yeah,
they keep sourcing for more money. Because the truth is, when you start spending this, you realize that what you have is not even enough to carry you through. So you want to keep having more and more. So it's just like water. It's just like water. By the time you keep taking out of the water, it doesn't increase, it decreases. So you need to keep fetching more. That's what they're doing. That's what our politicians are doing. Nothing else. That's just what they're doing.
Yes. That can be true, but that's if you have a stream. These guys have lakes and river. So
they have ocean, they have sea, they have it, everything. Sea.
Yeah, so they have basically put us wherever they want. You don't understand? It is not just about greed anymore. They have no wants. They want for nothing.
And that's why we need to speak up for ourselves to take all of this power. But I think we're not ready.
Okay, so
from all of this that has happened, the primaries, it shows that we're not ready. Honestly.
Okay, Ty, how
how
do you think we can revamp the system in 30 seconds? Let me have you on this as we wrap up.
Oh, we need to rip up the constitution. You know, wherever it is, we need to take it up and rip it up, and rephrase another one. That's the only solution we have.
Okay.
But they won't let it happen because it's working for the elite.
So
that's why they didn't let Biafra go.
Okay.
That's why they didn't let Biafra go. That's why they keep doing these Igbo people the way they are doing them.
Tayo, do you also know that I understand that the curriculum is faulty, which is why we're having all of these problems. Do you know that the curriculum we're using now is what the people that colonized us give
the
to
British,
us?
Yes. Yeah.
We have not as a nation sat down to draft out what we want in this country. We are only following what has been laid down for us. And so I don't see anybody coming in, even an oldie, like I posted on WhatsApp, I think last 2 months, and I did same yesterday. I don't see an oldie or a newbie coming in to make a difference. I am telling you the truth. Regardless of whether a leader, a big leader, well experienced, you cannot do anything to change anything within 4 or 8 years. The curriculum is totally faulty. And do you know what it takes for you to totally revamp all of that curriculum? Do you know how many people we're talking about here? You know how many people we have in the chamber alone?
So it's almost impossible.
It is impossible.
Okay, Tyre,
but let's
anchor on this. Okay.
I just said it is not about politicians. It's about the constitution. So like we need to change you call the curriculum, but I use constitution. Maybe that's where the disconnect came. So like we need
should just
to
close down Nigeria once and for all.
No, we're not closing it down. We're just changing the rules we go by because the constitution doesn't favor the masses, people like me and you. It only works for the ruling elite.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tayo. I must say I enjoyed this conversation. I knew that having you and Dami on this one will make a lot of sense, and thank you so much, both of you, for honoring my invite. And thank you to dear listener for joining me, Tayo. Thank you so much. I hope to have you some other time.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah,
thank you so
much. And Dami, thank you so much for
thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, this is where we draw our lines, we dot our I's and cross our T's. I'll see you again next week, and Argumentum will always be here. Balumi, Faye, Eric's, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. My name remains Damilola, Abodunrin, and this is Primus Radio. You can run adverts with me. Just do well to reach out to me, maybe through my... Just drop your comment on the feed if you want to run an advert with me, and we know how we can make it work. I'll see you again next week. Till then, bye for now.
Yeah. Don't sleep, wake up. Collect your money. Wake up. Collect your money.
trendybeats.com.
If you have a message, think Primus. If you have a gift, think Primus. If you have a dream, think Primus. Primus Radio.